Michael and I met technically freshman year.
I remember I saw it right away because it was new school, new bunch of girls. Of course, I was single and I was, checking out the girls there, and she was the first one I noticed.
He still remembers what I was wearing that day.
Yeah.
And that was like 4 years ago.
Can't remember anything else, but I remember that. I don't know why.
Well, then we ended up somehow on the same intramural volleyball team. And our groups of friends started hanging out. So I had actually a crush on him freshman year. At the end, the very end. Me and my roommates had put all our beds in the living room as like a last hurrah sleepover thing. And we were just kind of going around telling like confessions for some reason. And I remember I was like, oh, I have to tell them. I have to get it off my chest. And I was like, guys, I have a confession. And they're like, what? I'm like, I have a crush on Michael Roller.
Sophomore year, we ended up in the same dorm and on the same floor and like one door down. A couple more weeks passed, and then Abby got the ball rolling.
Yeah, I had told my friend to text Michael and just ask if he was interested in me.
And I was kind of like, yeah,
Playing
maybe.
it cool.
Kind of playing it cool and seeing what she would follow up with, and basically found out that she liked me, which is good because I don't know how long who knows, could have been years before I did anything. But then I finally built up the courage to ask her out. That was nerve-wracking, but I don't know. I asked you out, and you said yes.
It was funny because we're sitting there. I could tell you're so nervous, and you asked me to go on a date with you.
But then we started talking. We talked there for like a good hour or two.
Yeah.
And it was good. It's a good thing you did that. First date. I went to Don Pablo's.
Oh, yeah. Well, he had a rose waiting for me.
Oh, yeah. My mom
In the car seat.
picked me up because I didn't have a car.
Part of the date was a surprise. We went to a park.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really nice.
Yeah.
Because then we walked around and there was like a lake there and we talked for hours.
Yeah.
Like really got to know each other.
Yeah. And then the rest is history. Years passed. A lot of planning on the proposal. And I wanted to do it up in Taylor's Falls. A year earlier, I think we had carved our names into a tree. I decided that that'd be a good spot to do it, and we had a little picnic. Yeah, I had a little scavenger hunt. Every month since we started dating, I write her a little letter on like our anniversary day, and like cut out little pieces from all the letters. Kind of like had a map, and we would go through all these different stops, and at each stop I'd give her another little section of excerpts, and she'd read those, and we'd go to the next one, and it kind of took us through our whole...
Just like our whole journey together.
Yeah. And then we finally ended at the tree and had one of the best lines ever.
And I could tell he's like dripping with sweat. And I'm like, why didn't you just take your jacket off? Like, I'm fine. But really he had the ring in his pocket.
I didn't want to have to like transfer it or something, and I didn't want to drop it, or I didn't want you to know. We're going to the tree. That was the final stop, and we couldn't find it.
We could not find it.
This is only our second time there, right?
This is, our tree's like literally in the middle of nowhere.
I was freaking out. Like, what are we going to do? Like, I have this ring. I got to do this now. And what do we carve our names in a new tree or something? And then I remember we were split up looking for it. Abby yelled out that she found it. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like, I was having a panic attack. And then I said, oh, look, there's a deer behind you.
Oh, look, a deer.
She looked for like a minute.
I was like, am I not seeing this deer or something? And then I turn around and he's down on one knee and I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. Is this a joke?
And she would not let me do it, and I was like,
you literally were like, Abby, be quiet, I'm trying to propose
that's what
to you.
Said. I'm like, stop talking, I'm trying to propose, and she's just a mess. Like, oh, what are you doing? This isn't funny.
Because he had this nicely prepared, like, speech.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear any of it because my heart's, like, racing and I'm, like, freaking out.
Yeah. Popped up the box, grabbed her right hand.
Yeah, he grabbed the wrong hand in the middle of crying. I'm like, that's the wrong hand.
She said yes, I think, right? Yeah, she did.
A year later
Is the wedding.
we're getting married.
Yeah.
Well, definitely, I think, just going over the past 3.5 years with Michael, and just through our dating life and then engagement, and now going into a marriage, God has been the person who has really kept us together through it all.
We want Christ to be where a relationship starts, because He's brought us together, and He's what gets us through. The letters that I write every month, the first month, our anniversary or whatever, I started out right away writing one it was just an easy way for me to kind of convey what I was feeling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I decided just to keep it up, and it was kind of a good every month for us to kind of have that moment. Whenever she cries, that's when I know I wrote a good one.
Yeah.
So I usually watch her.
I'm
And,
emotional.
yeah, and when they're all crinkly, and that means there's tears on them, so that's a good one.
This is a quote from one of the letters that he wrote me. I cannot tell you how excited I am to live my life with you. To laugh, cry, cuddle, hug, kiss, struggle, discuss, praise, worship, pray, raise children, and get old. We are going to do all of this hand in hand together. There's no one else in the world I will ever love like you. You have my heart forever. I think the cutest thing Michael does is, I think a lot of times right before we kiss, he does this weird like lip twitch thing, and he never knows he's doing it, but I always catch him, and it always makes me smile.
The cutest thing that Abby does, it's probably when she gets under blankets. She kind of starts giggling and laughing, and kind of it doesn't really matter where it is, and I can even tell over the phone. She kind of makes the same kind of laugh, and I know that she's getting under a blanket or getting in bed or something like that.
The thing that bugs me most about Michael is he's a joke stealer. So we'll be like in a room full of people, and I'll whisper something to him, and he'll laugh, and then he'll say it out loud, and everyone will think it's just hilarious. But really, the jokes are all coming from me, and he always steals my jokes.
What'd she say about me? So what Abby does that bugs me the most, I don't know if I want to start numerically or alphabetically here, but no, just kidding there. What bugs me the most is I'm a pretty easily startled person, and Abby knows that, and she likes to scare me a lot, so she'll hide behind walls or hide wherever and jump out at me and grab me or something, and it gets me every time. I always freak out, make some horrible face, and she thinks it's the funniest thing in the world, which just bugs me even more. So that's probably what bugs me the most.
Who cries first? I definitely cry first because I'm totally an emotional person. I cry at pretty much anything. So I'll even cry at like a Cheerios commercial or cheesy letter. So I'm always crying. Michael's like The Rock. He literally never sheds a tear.
So the Vikings-Packers football rivalry, kind of tough to start off right away with meeting her and finding out that she's from Wisconsin, and her whole family are Packer fans. Growing up a Vikings fan, I always was hoping to marry a Vikings fan and kind of have that camaraderie. But the worst is probably going to her house and watching football. On Sundays, her brother-in-law's a Vikings fan, so we usually get sent to the basement while they're all upstairs, where it's warm with all the food, watching the Packer game. And lately the Packers have been better, so it's been rough lately in the rivalry. But I expect things to turn around. I know there's a lot of years left where the Vikings can get better, but there's definitely something we disagree on, but I think it brings us together too. I'm glad that she's passionate about that and doesn't want to switch teams or anything like that. So
I will always and forever be a Packers fan. I bleed gold and green. And Michael will probably try his hardest to make our kids into Vikings fans, but it's not going to happen. Well, Michael, now we're married, and it's finally our wedding day, something that I've been waiting for a really long time. And there's been a lot of preparation up until this point, and I'm definitely very, very excited to be your wife, and now you're my husband. I think what I've loved about you the most over these years have been all the little things that you've done for me, like buying me tulips in the middle of winter just because I need some sunshine, or writing me letters every single month for 3.5 years, or just being the last person to hang up on the phone because you never want to hang up on me. And stuff like that has really clung to my heart, and they've made me fall in love with you more and more every single day. and I love you very much, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you.
So Abby, so we're finally married. The day is finally here, and this whole year of planning the engagement, looking for a house and planning this wedding, it's finally all here, and just want to say how happy I am, and how lucky I am. I thank God that He's put you in my life, and I look back to before we started dating. The thinking about my future and wanting a family, and trying to find that special one, and not really knowing what that was going to be like, but you've completely blown that out of the water, my idea of what my future wife would be. And I'm so thankful that you're in my life, and the blessing you are, and how much that I've learned from you, and how far we've come together. Um, can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together, start our own family, and looking forward to all the different adventures that will go on. And I'm so happy that I'm marrying my best friend and the most beautiful and amazing woman I've ever met.